buwan na rin tayong nakatutok sa impeachment trial sa Senado. At bukod sa impeachment proceedings, kaabang-abang din kung ano ang sasabihin ng senadorang ito. Tunay ngang isa siya sa nagbibigay kulay hindi lamang sa impeachment proceedings kundi lalo't higit sa larangan ng politika sa ating bansa. Ngayong gabi, matutupad na rin ang matagal ko nang hinihintay. Ang masilipang bahay at buhay ng nag-iisang si Senadora Miriam Defensor Santiago. Kaya tutok lang kayo dito sa Powerhouse. Magaling, matalino at matapang. Yan si Senadora Miriam Defensor Santiago. Aaminin ko, isa siya sa aking dream interviewees. Senadora, thank you so much for accepting our request.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Beautiful house.
Thank you. It was done by Lindy Locsin.
The architecture
Yes,
was done by Lindy Locsin.
That's right.
Ang interior po, sino, Senadora?
by moi.
May moi. All right. By you. Alam mo, kitang-kita agad sa bahay na ano, you are well-traveled and you like to pick up souvenirs
Yes.
and pieces to put in your house.
Yes, so I can have all these memories. It is a house of memories.
That is a revelation, ha? Kasi nobody would think that Senadora Miriam would be, would like doing things like this inside a house. French-Italian ang tema ng buong bahay. At sa kanyang living room, may 4 na sala set. You love to entertain? Ang dami settings.
I'm the eldest in the family, so I usually have reunions.
All of them.
So they have to come here because I'm the eldest.
Panganay sa 7 anak si Miriam, nina Judge Benjamin Defensor at Mrs. Dimpna Palma Defensor, isang retired college dean. How was it when you were growing up with the
My
family
mother was
in
very,
Iloilo?
very strict. She took up masters in child psychology, by the way. And we were brought up to think that we were very bright people, that it was a great disappointment to all our ancestors if we did not live up to the family standards. That's why when I was a little girl, I thought everybody was an honor student. I would ask, for example, because both sides of my family were brilliant people. My mother had an average grade in high school of 95.
Wow! Kaya pala.
So I graduated valedictorian too, and my sister too. It is the high school with the highest standard in Iloilo.
So genetics pala yan?
Yeah,
Genetics,
I believe it is genetics.
Talaga?
Yes.
At di tulad ng mga pangkaraniwang bata, kakaiba na raw magsalita si Miriam noong pa man.
I was very, very fond of reading at a very young age. So I spoke when I was maybe 5 years old, I was still in kindergarten. I spoke like an ancient Anglo-American literary writer. Talking like this.
Wala rin daw sa bokabularyo ng batang si Miriam ang paglalaro. So wala kayong laro when you were young? O yun na yung laro mo? Alam mo, bahay-bahayan, yung mga ganyan, di
I
ba?
thought that was ridiculous.
Ayun.
It really sent me into gales of laughter when I went out of our house into the vacant lot where all the neighborhood children were playing, and they would play bahay-bahayan. It really sent me off
mo
in peals of
type.
laughter. No,
Hindi mo type
I really found it funny.
Oh, what was play to you?
Well, I wanted to be at first a scientist, so I wanted to play with chemicals. I wanted to invent things like those. But they were expensive. It was expensive to buy
Ay,
chemicals.
hindi nga pala normal yung inyong, yung inyong kabataan, no?
No.
Para mas lubusan siyang makilala, pumunta kami mismo sa kanyang kinalakihang probinsya sa Iloilo. Sa bahay na ito mismo sa Hechanova Street sa La Paz, ipinanganak at lumaki ang senadora. Nakausap mismo namin ang ina ng senadora.
Miriam was the eldest. Well, I told her to be domineering. When she says, scrub the floor, it should be scrubbed. And if it is not scrubbed well, she will be the one punished because she's in charge of it. Well, she studies what she is supposed to study because they are going to be tested the next day. She must study that whether she likes it or not. Even if she has a headache, even if she is hungry, she must study what is to be studied. Di ba siling madamo ako na brahon? Di obra ka man, kag-study ka man. Di ma'am damo. At kung hindi ka lang eskwela, lalagay ka sa talon. That is so. If you cannot make time for your studies, go to the forest and live there with the animals.
Dito sa La Paz Elementary School nag-aral at nagtapos bilang valedictorian si Miriam. Bagay na hindi na ipinagtaka ng marami.
Ay, talagang masaya yung pala kaibigan. Marami siyang kaibigan kasi mabait siya. At saka hindi siya makita na nakilaro sa mga pag after sang klase, uwi.
Sa Iloilo Provincial National High School, nagpatuloy ng sekundarya si Miriam. Nagpakitang gilas na agad si Miriam nang magkampiyon siya sa Spelling Bee kalaban ng mga senior students at bagamat freshman pa lamang noon, siya rin ang itinalaga bilang editor-in-chief ng kanilang school paper. At tulad ng inaasahan, muling naging valedictorian si Miriam nang magtapos siya ng high school. Dito naman sa UP Visayas, nagtapos si Miriam ng kursong Political Science. Nanguna siya sa entrance exam sa UP at siya rin ang naging editor-in-chief sa kanilang college paper. Bukod dyan, campus beauty rin pala na maituturing itong si Miriam. Sa katunayan, bida siya bilang UP ROTC course sponsor. As usual, tinapos ni Miriam ang kanyang kurso with flying colors. Magna cum laude at most outstanding graduates siya ng kanyang batch sa UP Visayas. Hindi lang pala si Attorney Santiago ang nanligaw sa inyo.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised because you were what? You were the ROTC
I was a
course.
campus figure.
Yeah, and the beauty at UP.
And I was an ideal date because most of the time I was half asleep.
because
I was always exhausted.
Halos 1 milyong libro raw ang pagmamay-ari niya at lahat ng ito ay nabasa na niya. Hilig talaga niya ang pagbabasa, kaya naman maging sa sarili niyang tahanan, may private library. Halos 1 milyong libro raw ang pagmamay-ari niya at lahat ng ito ay nabasa na niya. And a huge, ang laki pala itong library.
Yes.
Oo nga.
I love this library. I
Yes.
stay here most of the time. And it's really just 1/4 of my total number of books.
Where are the others?
Another 1/4 are in my basement, and then the other half is in my law office. Look at this. This is all just ventilated by ceiling fans.
Yes.
But I can aircon it like this.
Oh, yeah.
And then very easily.
Beautiful. Ay, oo nga. Oh, there it is. Itong
Yes.
aircon.
So I'm completely enclosed
Yes,
here. There are no
yes.
distractions whatsoever. This is where I do my most important work.
Do you employ a regular librarian to
No,
do all of this
I have
for
it
you?
all in my head.
In
I
your
know
head?
Yes, I know when someone took one book and I'll throw a tantrum. I have a fit.
Okay, what's your favorite book?
Well, I like historical fiction, so I cannot say that there's just one book. But in all, I like Tolstoy. I like the Russian writers like Turgenev, Dostoevsky, etc. But in terms of genre, the specific kind of writing, I like historical novels. I really love because you can sort of go back to that life. You can sort of leave your
Yes,
physical
yes,
body
yes.
and go back to that kind of life they were living. So I love that.
Isa ring accomplished writer si Miriam. Sa katunayan, marami na siyang naisulat na libro tungkol sa law, sa political science at maging sa philosophy. Bagay na hindi naman nakapagtataka dahil sa kolehiyo pa lang, mahilig na talaga siyang magsulat. Sa katunayan, siyang kauna-unahang babaeng naging editor-in-chief ng Philippine Collegian, ang prominenteng pahayagan ng Universidad ng Pilipinas. Sa UP College of Law namulat, sa dating scene ang senadora. Aba, at marami raw siyang nakadate nung nag-aaral pa siya sa UP.
Nung bata pa lang ako, I always went out on dates on Friday. I always got along with the men in UP, young men in UP.
So hindi lang pala si Attorney Santiago ang nanligaw sa inyo.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised because you were what? You were the ROTC.
I was a
course.
campus figure.
Yeah, and the beauty at UP.
And I was an ideal date because most of the time I was half asleep. because I was always exhausted. Friday was a time when I could sort of have a free dinner. It was very easy to ask me for a date. Would you like to go for a date? And I'll say, dinner? I always liked dinner on Friday. So I didn't mind who I was going out with.
Yeah.
If you had sent a robot to ask me for dinner, I have been very happily dating a robot.
Kainis naman. Baka nanonood sa'yo, Senadora, yung mga nag-date sa'yo, ha?
Hindi naman.
Sasabihin nila, ganun lang pala yun.
I liked all those young men.
So how many proposals did you get?
I don't really count. I don't really
More than two?
I
More
don't
than
think,
three?
oh, yes, definitely.
More than your fair share, ha?
Yeah. Because at that time, I think young men just went out regularly on a date. Maybe they count 1, 2, 3, fourth date, ask the question. And you're always, I think, also expected at that time to say, no, I'm very serious in my studies. Especially me, because I was a scholar. Maybe they just wanted a trophy girlfriend, you know?
Wow, yeah. Bagamat maraming nakadate noon ang senadora, ang dating kaklasing si Attorney Narciso Jun Santiago ang napusuan niya. What was it with Attorney Santiago na siya yung nakasungkit ng iyong matamis na oo?
Let me count the ways while I married my husband. Number one,
marami,
he was not good in academics at all. I think
he wasn't. Wow.
I think he was the true one of the class, classmates, but we were not section mates. I didn't really know him, and I only got to know him because one day I came late from a meeting with, I think, President Marcos in Malacanang because I was a student leader. So I had to sit in the back. I normally sit in front where I worship my professor. I stare with with love-struck eyes at my professor, take down everything he says, and I don't even breathe. That's how I got to be a scholar, because all my professors knew that I adored them. And normally, I would never know who those guys were at the back. Were usually very noisy or rowdy and copied from each other during exams. I really detested them. Malalaman mo talaga sinong nangungopya kasi sa likod sila upo eh.
Oo nga.
Ang hindi nangungopya doon sa harap. And I noticed that they were passing around pieces of paper. And finally, one of them gave it to me. It said, 10 most beautiful legs in class.
Wow. Okay.
And my name was there.
Okay.
So I turned and smiled at the next fellow, who happened to be my husband. My husband had a brand new sports car, and we urgently needed a sports car, a car at that time. So I tended to date people with cars because I was editor of the Collegian, and at that time our printing press was in Santa Cruz. I was living in UP Diliman. Yes, so I'd go on a date once, and they'd say, "Can you take me to the printing press this Wednesday? Can my staff come too?" That always improved his chances.
Na makapagtapos ng abogasya, pinag-aral naman ni Miriam ang kanyang mga kapatid sa tulong ng asawang si June.
When he was courting me, I said, I come from a poor family, so I have to improve myself first. I can't get married because I have to send my siblings to school. I got to go do my doctorate so I can get a good job, make good money. And he said, money is not a problem. I will support our family forever and ever.
Napagtapos niyo silang lahat?
Oh yeah, they're all doctors and lawyers, I'm very proud to say.
Oh, is that so?
They're very outstanding.
At kahit kasal na, ay pinagpatuloy pa rin ni Miriam ang kanyang masteral at doctoral studies sa University of Michigan. Pero tila hindi napapagod sa pag-aaral si Miriam dahil patuloy ang kagustuhan niyang magpakadalubhasa sa napiling larangan. Lahat na yata ng prominenteng paaralan sa buong mundo ay napasukan na niya. Kumuha siya ng postdoctoral studies in law sa Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Stanford, University of California, at Berkeley. Senadora says there never was a time that you really gave her reason to be jealous.
Kasi ang secret namin, hindi pa niya natatapos sabihin, payag na ako.
He wanted me to be a kept woman.
And
So I said, just choose your weapon, okay? Let's abbreviate this discussion. Choose your weapon. Kailangan mamatay isa sa atin ito.
mahilig din kayo pala na
That's right.
mag-ayos ng bahay
Yes, like these tapestries, for example. They're from Belgium.
from Belgium.
So when I see it, I have an entire universe to think about people I saw, people I met there.
Yes, yes.
This dining set, for example, I bought this in a closing out sale of an expensive furniture store here.
Here in the Philippines.
Yes, it was it was made in France. It was
Made in France ito.
very,
Pero
very
dito,
dusty.
Dito ninyo binili.
In a closing out sale, they had to take it out of their bodega. I like to renovate. I got these Italian cabinets.
Ito, Italian
Yes.
cabinets. Dito na ho. Dito na in the Philippines. You
Yes.
bought this here.
I actually like to go to our so-called flea markets where they sell. And so this is in effect a flea market find.
Talaga?
Yes, it has a matching buffet cabinet there.
Itong mga ano ninyo, dinnerware. Beautiful.
These are English.
Ganda.
Yes. These are basically just to bring joy to the eye. I don't really use them. Or sometimes if my sisters are all here, since we're all scattered all over the globe, then we take out these things and pretend we're very, very rich.
Meron din akong ganito pero tasa lang. Hindi buong ganun. Senadora, where is the woman in you? There is a public
What do you mean, where is the woman? I'm all
But you know, your public reputation is that, you know, you are a fighter. You know, no one will dare cross paths with Senadora Miriam Defensor Santiago. Nasaan ang pagkababae ninyo? As a wife? As a mother?
I am gender free when I'm at work.
Okay.
I don't think of myself as a woman. She's a woman legislator. So if you're looking for the feminine side,
Yes.
it's very much ensconced in my house.
In your house.
So people would be surprised if they were living with me in my house to find, for example, that I don't scream every day.
Oh, we should tell Attorney Aguirre about that.
I don't scream every day. I speak very quietly. In fact, my view of a house is that it is a nest of silence where everybody is accepted for what he is.
Okay.
No matter how hurt we are there or how guilty we have been there outside, when we come, we're always accepted. That is my idea of a house. So, in the first place, the house should be very, very quiet. You'll notice that my house is very quiet, and I've taken the trouble of setting up feeding stations for the birds so that all you can hear are bird song. And they come here every morning. They wake me up at dawn,
Oo.
and then they will sing again at 6 o'clock in the evening. So, and then my house is very functional and very comfortable. I don't want it to look like a show window in some expensive store. I want it to look lived in. My highest compliment was paid by my house guest who said, "Your house is big from the outside, but it's very cozy inside." These are my grandkids.
Isn't that so nice?
This one has my temperament. She loves to throw things.
Do they stay with you?
No, the
When
father
do you
is too
have them?
strict.
When do you have them?
Only for like half a day on a Sunday or a
Sunday.
Saturday. Hi, honey, come over here. You can shake hands
Good
with
afternoon po. Senadora says there never was a time that you really gave her reason to be jealous.
Kasi ang secret namin, hindi pa niya natatapos sabihin, payag na ako.
Taong 1971 na ikasal sina Miriam Defensor at June Santiago. akalain ninyong nagtangka pala ang kanyang asawa na patigilin siya sa kanyang career.
We were always fighting whether I should practice my career, because in terms of money, it was completely unnecessary. He wanted me to be a kept woman.
And
So I said, just choose your weapon, okay? Let's abbreviate this discussion. Choose your weapon. Kailangan mamatay isa sa atin nito. Asawa ka, nag-graduate ng UP College of Law, tapos dyan na lang siya sa bahay. Well, in any event, of course, he saw the light. And then so he said, I spend for everything. You can just keep your own money.
Your capriccio is yours.
That's right.
Is your expense. Pag
That's
capriccio
right.
mo, iyop. But the house, sa kanya ang...
And it's never a problem with money. For example, if we're shopping, if we go to a city like Hong Kong just for the shopping, I'll say, I saw 2 pairs of shoes today that I really want to buy, but they're too expensive. And he'll say, oh, buy 10 of them. so that I will keep on talking about it.
Dumaan ba kayo sa pagsiselos?
No, because I have no time. I'm too busy.
Minsan hindi kayo nagselos?
No, never.
Never, ever?
I always urge my husband, go kiss that friend of mine or go kiss somebody. And he's always very reluctant.
Oh.
Because I always tell him, you probably have more sexual energy than I do. So you have to find some outlet for that energy. You can at least kiss my women friends, but he's very hesitant because he's all prim and proper.
So wala kayong nadinig man lang na
Well, there's a saying,
dapat pagselosan?
the wife is always the last to know, so I wouldn't know until after I'm well buried 6 feet under the ground. But so far, I've been the head of an intelligence unit, remember?
Yes, right. Oh, so takot lang niya, ganun?
No, my husband is very, very finicky. Kapampangan kasi. Kaya kailanman hindi ako nagselos. I want to tell you, it's my husband who sits at the head of the table.
Okay.
I don't sit at the other end of the table. I sit here on his left.
Okay.
So that is his position in our house. When he comes, we all fall to our knees and we say, Lord and Master, what is your pleasure?
Sikreto ba yan, ma'am?
Sometimes you do it literally.
Yeah, pero sikreto ba yan ng happy marriage? Would you say that ito yung one of the ways on how to maintain a relationship
I noticed
with a man?
Immediately, as a thinking individual, when I first got married, there seems to be a rivalry between the egos of 2 people.
Siyempre.
So if you just kill your ego, there's no problem. And to fight with someone who's going to be with you for the rest of your life is so counterproductive. What is going to be the result? So I said to my husband, you know, I'm a very independent woman on our honeymoon.
On your
So
honeymoon?
I'll go my way and you go my way.
Kaya palang walang problema eh. Kayo naman, Senadora. But let me just find out how you are as a mother.
Yeah, as a mother, when I was younger, I did everything by the book.
So you were like your mother? Did you expect your children to... No.
I turned against everything that my mother applied to us because I felt that it was too demanding and no person can possibly live up to those demands. Yeah. And didn't ever want my children to suffer like I did. I just told them, if you pass your grades, I'll be happy. It is more important to have a happy life than to have a successful life, because success you can define in many ways. Just being happy is a success in itself. I was a very demonstrative mother. I would hug and kiss all the time, and my children would go running away from me and say, Dad, stop her. She's manic. But I never had time for them. Because I was so busy. And one time I rushed home just to change my clothes because I had another engagement. My youngest son, whom I later lost, was home that day, and he was very happy because he thought I was already free, only to realize that I jumped back into the car. And then he was so mad at me, he shouted after me, "You're not a real mother. You're just a pretend mother."
Wow.
Yes.
And that hit you, huh?
Of course. And there were many times when there were parental activities in school when I was always late. And my son would stand there forlorn and alone, and then he would light up when he would see me. I was always running from place to place. I couldn't help it. And my sons were intelligent enough to understand that these were things that I had to, that there were demons that were ruling me, and that I had to act according to my demons.
Pwede bang masabi that there are also regrets in your life despite all the achievements to your name?
No.
No? You
In
didn't
fact,
regret
my
these
failures, for example, they were completely human failures. There's no such thing as a person who has never had a failure. So if I had a failure, I just say to myself, well, you had it coming to you. You want your fair share of happiness, you have to have your fair share of sadness.
At isa na marahil sa pinakamalungkot na pangyayari sa buhay ng senadora ay ang pagkamatay ng kanyang bunsong anak na si Alexander Robert taong 2003.
Don't have any regrets.
And how do you deal with sadness, especially when you lost your son?
Yeah. Well, of
was
course, drove me
terrible,
out of my mind.
Of course.
It's ineffable. You cannot put it into words. When you put in so much love and you put in hope for the future, and you try and bring him up to the best of your abilities and let him imbibe moral, ethical values, and then all of a sudden he's gone. And of course, it made me question my faith. What kind of God are you that you do these things to innocent people? Suffering I can understand when it's necessary, but what about the suffering of the innocent? What kind of universe is this? You got to be a very poor, incompetent God.
But you're over this now? Questioning God?
I always
He's
question.
incompetent.
It's not a question of feuding with the Creator.
Are you over it? Are you,
I will never be over the
Never
death of
over.
my son because
Ay.
there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of him or I get reminded of him.
Nawalan man ang anak na lalaki ang senadora, nagkaroon naman siya ng anak na babae sa pagkatao ng aktres na si Heart Evangelista.
What was funny is she went up to me na aktuan. You're Heart Evangelista, right? My son's fond of you. I was just shocked kasi siya pa yung nag-approach sa akin.
Hunyo nung isang taon ang idaos ng mag-asawang June at Miriam ang kanilang 40th wedding anniversary. Dinaluhan ito ng mga pinaka-prominenteng tao sa bansa at ang kanyang maid of honor walang iba kung hindi si Heart.
I remember the first time we met again, she invited me over to her house. She showed me her house, she showed me her library, her photos, ganyan. And it was like magic, we've been like best friends, mother and daughter ever since that day. Having her in my life is like having an angel, like she's there for me 24/7. Whether it's about a heartbreak, whether it's about a problem that I have, personal, serious, a contract that needs to be approved. Anything under the sun, she's there for me. And so my parents are so happy that I have someone like her in my life.
Are you a bag woman?
Handbags, I don't at all like them because they occupy my hands. My hands always have to be ready in case I need to slap somebody.
Kasi I remember noon when I was starting, my God, your legs were the top of the town.
Yes,
Really?
I love that bathing suit picture because I
Oo,
love,
yung nakaganyan ka sa no?
I would love to be allowed to go around in a bathing suit. It is the ideal tropical wear, really.
Sunod na ipinakita ni Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago ang kanyang private gym. How long do you work out?
45 minutes, 1 hour.
5 minutes.
Because you don't really want to grow muscular.
That's right.
You just want to tone it. So the faster you do it, the better. You don't really do like this, like you want an Arnold Schwarzenegger figure. And then you do the crunches there. That's the most difficult part.
Ay, nako, I hate that. Hindi ko kaya yan,
And then the
nahilo ako.
treadmill.
Bagamat health conscious, nalaman kong ayaw na ayaw pala ng senadora na pagtuunan ng mahabang oras ang pagpapaganda. So is there somebody who does that for
Oh,
you?
yes. I have a
Meron ka stylist.
Yes, I have a
Alright.
niece, and so knows this stuff. I just submit to it. I know that it is part of my daily crucifixion, so I offer it to I offer it to the Lord.
So you're not fond of, you'd rather what, read than go
yes.
to the parlor or
I'd rather
something?
wear shorts and an old t-shirt, climb a tree and read there.
than fixing yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Now I go into your being yung usual ng babae. Are you a bag woman? Do you like clothes?
No,
shoes. You said you love
If
shoes.
the law would allow me, I'd go around naked. Really. I would shave off my hair and go around naked.
Kasi I remember noon when I was starting, my God, your legs were the talk of the town. And that iconic photograph of you na yung meron kang baril na nakaganyan ka. Yung unang panahon, you were such a big hit.
Yes,
really?
I love that bathing suit picture. Because I would
yung nakaganyan ka sa no?
I would love to be allowed to go around in a bathing suit. It is the ideal tropical wear, really. Then you can wear high heels.
And how many pairs of shoes do you own?
Quite a number, in fact.
Wow, you're fond of shoes?
Yeah, you go
More
to
than
office.
bags? More than bags?
Handbags, I don't at all like them because they occupy my hands. My hands always have to be ready in case I need to slap somebody.
1983, isa si Miriam sa pinakabatang hukom na naitalaga sa isang regional trial court sa Metro Manila. Kadalasan kasi ang mga baguhan ay ipinapadala sa probinsya. Ngunit si Miriam, nagsilbing regional trial court judge ng Quezon City mula 1983 hanggang 1987. Naging controversial din ang kanyang termino ng pagdesisyonan niyang ipanalo ang kaso ng mga estudyanteng nagprotesta noon laban kay dating Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos. Dahil dito, nang maging Pangulo si Ginang Cory Aquino, matapos ang panahon ng martial law, itinalaga niya si Miriam Santiago bilang Commissioner ng Bureau of Immigration at Deportation. Dito ay nakatanggap siya ng prestigyosong Ramon Magsaysay Award sa pagpuksa ng graft and corruption sa bansa. This is a meeting room.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have my Magsaysay Award here.
Oh, yes.
That's to intimidate people I sit with. Especially if they want my law office to handle a case. It helps to raise my bill.
But seriously, Senadora, sino yung mga big names that have come and met with you here in this room, or decisions that you have made in this room?
President Arroyo.
Has been here.
I think Mrs. Estrada, Miss Loy Estrada, not Erap himself, FPJ and his wife. A couple of presidents have been here, and chief justices, and they're treated to my husband and I in native dress.
Oh, really?
Because sometimes I have foreign visitors, so I want them to see us in our native barongs.
Noong 1989, itinalaga siya bilang kalihim ng Department of Agrarian Reform.
Ang nakukuha nilang grado ay 2% o 4%. Yan ang mga talagang walang.
1992, nagdesisyong tumakbo sa pagkapangulo si Miriam Defensor Santiago sa ilalim ng People's Reform Party. Natalo siya nang noon ay Secretary of National Defense si Fidel V. Ramos. How are you now with former President Fidel Ramos?
As far as I'm concerned, it does not exist.
So, would it be
He
correct?
represents a problem of evil on planet Earth. You ask yourself, there's a God and there's so much goodness. Why is there evil? That's how I associate him in my mind. He's a walking paradigm of evil. That's the source of all those stories that you've been trying to resurrect against me. He was not fighting fair.
Ang pagkatalong ito ay nananatiling malaking katanungan para sa kampo ni Miriam.
I believe I was cheated. To my dying day, I will asseverate that I was cheated in 92. I don't ever want anyone to suffer as I did in 92. You know, you work very, very hard. The students worked very hard for me. They were basically my constituency. I didn't have any money. And I was being deluged with black propaganda. I was being called a witch. I was being called all the other names you can think of in the thesaurus. And I only had the young people to keep faith with me.
Hindi naman nawala ng pag-asa si Miriam. Taong 1995, tumakbo at nanalo siya sa Senado. Hinirang din siyang most outstanding senator sa dami ng batas na kanyang ginawa at naipasa. 1998, tumakbo muli sa pagka-presidente ang senadora. Ngunit natalo siya ni Joseph Ejercito Estrada.
You still have that ambition in you? No?
No more.
Even if you paid me, I wouldn't want to run for president because today I think the Philippines is even more fractured than it ever was. The Filipinos have no sense of shared destiny. Hindi sila nag-iisip na kung anong mangyari dito sa taong ito, mangyayari yan sa kabuuan. Kaya ako, dapat sa aking sariling buhay, ay dapat may mga hinahabol akong mga ethical conduct. Yung pagiging good citizen. Dahil kung bad citizen ako,
it affects the entire...
apektado lahat. Kasi, ang mga Pilipino, hanggang ngayon, wala silang mga leader who are capable of inspiring them to be better than themselves. Yung mga leader nila are not really leaders.
You don't think President Noynoy is that? No?
Well, he might do his best, but I doubt very much if he will succeed in all his ambitions as his personal goals for his presidency because of our culture, our political culture breeds corruption in the first place. Paano ka tatakbo unless you're extremely popular na hindi ka tatanggap ng malaking pera sa mga mayayaman?
Bagamat natalo ang senadora sa eleksyon noong 2001, naibalik naman siya sa pwesto sa ikalawang pagkakataon noong 2004 at na-re-elect pa noong 2010.
Free speech occupies the highest position in the hierarchy of constitutional values.
Sa kasalukuyan ay tinatapos niya ang kanyang pangatlong termino bilang senador ng Pilipinas at isa sa mga senator judges sa impeachment trial ni Chief Justice Renato Corona.
Kasi salungat sa gusto mo, kaya ayaw mo pakinggan. Kung ayaw mo pakinggan, umalis ka sa korte.
Aalis na nga po sana ako kaya lang...
Granted!
So now I'll address you again as Dr. Santiago.
All right.
Because I want the mind there. What will happen kung ma-convict si Jay? Okay? What will happen kung hindi siya ma-convict?
Una, matatakot ngayon ang Korte Suprema sa presidente. Kaya kung may kaso ang presidente sa Korte Suprema, malamang sa mananalo siya. Hindi na siya ma-check ng Korte Suprema. Ngayon, alahanin mo ganito. Ang ating presidente is our sole spokesman in foreign relations. Sa ating mga relasyon sa ibang bansa, isa lang kausap nila ang presidente ng Pilipinas. Ngayon, natural, itong mga foreign countries, may mga interest sila na salungat sa interes ng Pilipinas. Halimbawa, yung Mindanao na yon, maraming interesado doon. Pero kung mag-isa na lang siya, natakot ng Supreme Court, wala ng independence of the judiciary, kayang-kaya na siyang i-pressure ng foreign countries dahil sabihin nila, kontrolado mo naman yung Supreme Court eh. What will happen if he is acquitted? Well, then, that will of course produce the reverse situation. The independence of the judiciary will be strengthened. Mas malakas ngayon ang loob ng mga Supreme Court justices to completely ignore whatever the president or his assistants might be dropping hints about.
But then the president says he needs something like this for his anti-corruption program.
Yes, but we also have to think of the system itself of checks and balances. Meron siyang personal goal niya, the anti-corruption drive, but there is also an institutional aspect to this controversy. Because kailangan balansyado yung tatlong branches na yun. Hindi pwedeng mas powerful ang one branch, the presidency, over the other two. Otherwise, magiging absolute despot siya or tyrant. That is the theory in political science.
Dapat pagdasal sila na talagang, di ba? They will judge this impeachment case considering the principles.
That's right.
Involved.
It should be a principled decision.
Ang ganitong pananaw at kaalaman tungkol sa impeachment case ay isang bagay na tiyak mamimiss natin kapag natuloy ng pumuntang senadora sa The Hague, Netherlands upang ipagpatuloy ang kanyang karera bilang isang legal expert at woman of justice. Nitong December 12, 2011, si Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, ang kauna-unahang Pilipino at Asyano mula sa umuunlad na bansa ng Asya na nahalal sa International Criminal Court. Pagpunta ninyo sa International Criminal Court, ito ba talagang inambisyon na ninyo? Bata pa kayo? No,
not really.
So how did that come into your consciousness? That, you leave the Senate and go to the ICC?
Well, because they were sending out these notices to the various countries, and the DFA sent a notice to the Senate.
Okay.
So we got to know about it, and I'm chair of the Committee on Foreign Relations at that time. So I said, well, maybe I'll stand for nomination, because to be nominated is in itself already
yes.
a recognition.
Oo nga.
I was really very interested in getting the post as much as I was getting interested in getting nominated to the post.
Now that you have the post, paano yun?
Well, they will call me when someone retires, because
Okay.
in their organization, even if a judge reaches retirement age, he cannot leave unless he has finished the trial of any pending case.
Right,
So if
right.
it takes 2 more years, he has to stay there 2 more years.
9 years, di ba? Ang
Yeah.
ano niyan. Paano yun, Senadora? Anong plano nyo? You have to live there.
Yeah, I have to leave my old life behind and take up a completely new life.
Right.
No politics, no person to talk to.
Correct.
We're completely insulated in our little ivory
Oo nga,
towers.
Yes.
But
Will you survive?
But I'm used to that when I was a judge.
Ah.
So I'll just return to that old kind of life.
How would you want to be remembered? Yan.
I don't want to be remembered.
You don't
like-
want to be remembered. Ang pangalan po ninyo hindi na mabubura sa kasaysayan ng politika ng Pilipinas.
Sa tingin mo.
Yes. I don't think it can.
I respectfully
Hindi
beg
na
to
siguro.
disagree. If I die today, after 3 months, no one will remember who I was.
On that point, Senadora, I thank you so much for the time that you gave me, and I will still say that you will stay in the history books of this bansa. Thank you so much.
You're very
Maraming
welcome.
salamat.
Very welcome. I enjoyed it. And you're very welcome in my humble abode.
Strikto, walang inuurungan, at hindi matatawarang kakayahan. Ang mga katangiang ito man ay binabatikos ng iba. Ito naman marahil ang mismong mga katangiang naging dahilan ng pagkakatalaga ni Senador Miriam Defensor Santiago bilang hukom sa prestihiyosong International Criminal Court. Isang patunay na sa usapin ng hustisya, ang katapangan ay hindi lang dapat suportahan kundi dapat ding ipagbunyi. Ako po si Mel Tiangco. Hanggang sa susunod na Martes, samahan niyo kaming bisitahin ang mga bahay at buhay ng mga taong nabibilang dito sa Powerhouse.